Hi everyone, I'm Krista from Love and Tips Homestead. So we are going to be talking about loofahs today. I got to harvest mine from my garden and I'm going to show you how to preserve it when you have a green one like this. Why did I harvest mine early? Well, these already got their first frost on them, and we were predicted to get 3 frosts in a row this week, and I knew I had to scurry out there and get it. And if you live in a zone like mine, which is 6A, these don't have enough time to dry properly on the vine. I got one that dried properly, and these ones are like kinda dry, but they're not that bad. But this one isn't that bad, but that's 2 out of all of these. And I've already harvested like 6 of them and did this process. So I'm going to show you how to take care of this. First, I'm kind of curious about this one. I'm going to zoom in so everyone can see. Super curious what it looks like. You can kind of actually already see the sponge. So this one dried out pretty quickly. It is moldy, but it was like this outside because it's been raining nonstop here. And that's another reason why I wanted to harvest it, because I was like, this is not good. Okay, so that actually wasn't too bad. It's definitely going to be cleaned out and need washed and getting the seeds out, which we can kind of pretty stuck in there. So yeah, so that was not too bad. I know some people like to use peroxide to clean them to make them more white. I kind of like their natural color. I don't mind it too much. So mine will be a slight brown, slight white. I know from baking them in the oven, but I'd rather have that natural look. So even with this one, you can see the sponge right here. And loofahs are really cool because it's literally a squash. So basically at this stage, it's a squash that you can actually eat. And then if you let it grow longer, obviously, it has, the inside is a sponge that you can actually dry out and use. So it's an all natural sponge. So I mean, what could be better? And typically when you harvest loofahs, they can either be all the way brown, or they can be like kind of a light yellow like this, which makes it easier to peel the skin back. But on these like darker green ones, it's gonna be a lot harder to do that. I'm actually surprised that this isn't too bad. You're gonna try to get the seeds. Usually you try to get the seeds out, but honestly, I'm gonna have to scrub this one down. So we got these 2. So with one like this, I'm going to cut the ends off because I just know, yeah, see, you can tell that's just full on squash. It's not even a little bit dried out. So what I do is I cut both of the ends off, and see, like, it's just so thick that there's no way you can just peel it back. So I just stop like that. I'm like, okay. There's no way I can peel it. So then I cut it in half. And then, so this will make it easier. And you can definitely tell this compared to this, it needs to dry out a lot more. We're gonna make slits down here to make breathable holes so we can really start drying out this loofah so we're able to peel the skin. So what I do is just go like that. I'm going to do the same thing here. You don't want to cut too deep. You don't want to cut the sponge. So that one, oh, I'm going to do one more right here. We're going to cut some more of these and put them on a tray to make them dry faster. I'll get that. And I'm also going to put one of these drying wraps on it too to give it more breathing. So I'm basically going to put these on here, right on the rack, so they can dry. Get good airflow. We're going to start on the next one. So I'm going to choose the biggest one. Oh well. And any of these scraps you can compost in your garden. Definitely going to this one in. Wow, okay. So you can actually see, so unlike this one, you can actually start to see the sponge in here, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now we're going to do the slits on this one. Okay, so that's going to fill up this tray. Okay, so next we are going to bake these in the oven at 300 degrees. Usually I bake them in the oven from 30 to 60 minutes. It really just depends. And you can see these have a lot to dry out. It's going to be kind of an issue compared to these ones. These ones wouldn't take that long, but because these ones have they're so immature that you need to bake them longer. So we're going to go ahead and put these in the oven at 200 degrees. Okay, so these are from the loofahs that I peeled that we didn't have to put in the oven to be able to heat them up to take the skins off. So what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze them under the hot water, and we're going to really squeeze and clean and try to get as much of the gross stuff out. And then we're going to let it sit in the hot water to really get everything open up. So we're going to do it with every single one of these now. We're going to try to get the seeds out if we can. Okay, so now that we have these all clean, we are going to put them in our sink in hot water, and we're gonna let them sit for 30 minutes, and we're gonna come back and squeeze them once we're done. My sinks kind of takes a while, so. Okay, we're gonna take our loofahs out of the oven. It's a little hot, but not too bad. So, we're gonna let these cool on a drying rack before we try to undo the skins, just so we don't burn ourselves. Let them cool down, and we will. Okay, so we're gonna put them on this drying rack. We're gonna place them here, let it cool down because they are pretty warm, and I usually let them go overnight, and then we'll check them. You can tell that they're starting to loosen up, but they might need to go in again, just based off of, like I said, the juiciness of it. Like, you can see the sponge in that one, but this one you can tell there's still a lot because this was a thicker loofah. So let these ones sit, and we'll get back to our ones that we're soaking in the sink. Okay, so these ones are looking good. Like, that's awesome. Look how clean that looks compared to the brown it looked like before. Most important thing is making sure these seeds are out. So that was the nice thing about soaking them. Even though, yeah, that's the nice thing about soaking them because they'll come out more. So at this stage, I'm gonna let them dry on a drying rack after I kind of take all these out of here. I really try to get all the water out first. This still has some seeds and fuel and squash. Because a bunch of this is probably not in the oven. It doesn't go in the oven. It's not how this is great. I should get the seed there. Yeah, that one's good. It's another color. See a little bit of this one making a little bit. This is how it this is how it outside easy. You know, it's hard. This kind of because I can see because it's hard to watch there. This will be good. Then you can see not forget. We're going to be for that. So. This one has some. Oh, watch it. No, this is very green. I want to see how they use. This one color. That's not the one. Still some. This is dry out. And I'll do that. We're probably letting it do it out. Okay, so we're going to do it now. This. We really don't want them touching either. So these ones are going to the oven, so we're going to put them in the oven pile with the other ones. Because they need to be in there. Because these ones are nice and soft and bendable. Like, you can't even bend those other ones. Typically, we're going to let these dry overnight and see how they are. Really check if there's any, like, more of that loofah slime in there, and if there is, I'll probably soak them again or clean them again, and then after we give it the final clean, we will let it sit kind of like against something like this and rotate it every day to new areas, so wherever it's touching the bottom, it doesn't develop mold. So I'll like flip it, and the next day flip it, and then it will take 2 weeks for this to fully dry out. Yeah, it will take 2 weeks for this to fully dry out, and once we get those other loofahs peeled, we're going to be doing the same exact process all over again. Okay, so now that these have dried, we're going to go ahead and peel them. Make it all so much easier than before, which is awesome. You can see there's still a lot of liquid in these, so it's still going to make a mess. I'm going to go ahead and put these out of the sink. So we're going to have to give these a nice good soaking and squeezing and try to get as much out as we can. And you can see like what a difference this is compared to like a full-on, it just looks like a zucchini in the cross-sectional area. Yeah, this one didn't develop. It was all fine there. That's later. You guys want gadgets? This one built. Or are we doing 2 combos? So they all do it. That's what I put racing. I was like, oh, yes. Try. It's like a little sponge. Try a little bit. It's like a little Check out this. Okay, so we are gonna wash these. First, we're gonna squeeze out all this gunk. Oh my gosh. Like, squeeze out all the seeds. This one's open, so it's actually a lot easier to get them out over here. Okay. Over here, this one. Out and clogged my sink. We will start washing these now. So let's just start with this little one. It's kind of flimsy, and we're just gonna use the warm water to really kind of massage all the gross liquid out and try to squeeze, get as much out as we can. This will also help the seeds. Pretty clean now. And I can tell it has much milk. It's clean now. You guys like another minute? So I'm going to let this soak. I'm actually going to warm it in. We're going to freeze for an hour or two. We're really dry out. This is all it's doing. And it's all going to overheat it. But let's just check on these ones and see if one maybe soaks longer or something like that. We are going to take our other loofahs out of the oven. They are the ones that we already cleaned off previously, and I had them in the oven at 200 degrees for a couple hours just to help dry them out. And I wanted you to see the difference in these ones compared to the ones that we have over there. So these are, as you can see, look at that. Looks beautiful, beautiful sponge. I mean, this mark is from just the loofah itself, but look how clean it looks, nice and dry, and all the seeds are just falling out. Like, this is perfect. Completely dry. So I'm going to unload these. I'm gonna leave these ones on here just because they're a little damp still. I'm gonna keep them this way instead. Make sure they're not touching anything. We'll see how these vlog ones come out. Who knows? They might actually come out better than I think, but just by the way they look, they're a little strange. All right, so I'm gonna space out. Okay, put it in the oven. And here's another loofah. Looks great. These are the last ones I have to peel and make a mess with. So, 200 degrees, okay. Leave them in there for a few hours, and like I said, just rotate them. Okay, since the other ones are in the oven, we are going to take care of these ones. I'm doing these ones a little different. These are the ones that had the squash in them. I already baked them in the oven like that, and then I cleaned them again. So now, I'm actually going to cut these and dry them flat. So first, I'm gonna cut this like this. And this is what Bree did in her video. I'm not gonna make the washcloth yet. I'm just gonna do the flattening of the loofah first and dry it out better, since these had such an issue with being so green and not ready really to harvest. Wait a minute, like, pretty much make it up. So put the loop that. So we're here next. Then you can see what that's doing. Not flat. I'm just seeds. Okay, now I can see the stuff now. I can do. First, like this. Next, we do that. Okay. Now this one. Okay, so I got two. Okay, now we're gonna wash these one last time, and then we'll be able to let these air dry for a few weeks. Awesome. So I'm just gonna place it on the rack and flip it every day for 2 weeks, and it will be all dried up. Okay, so now that these are all washed, just gonna go ahead and rotate these. These ones are looking really good. They'll probably be done a lot faster than these other ones. These tongs, because these ones are a little bit more wet, so obviously they're gonna be a little hotter. Okay, we'll try to get another half an hour. Started making them into the sizes I want. That'll be a different video, like cutting them into circles. You can put them in soaps like that. I could cut them in different sections and have them being loofah brushes for showering, or I could cut them, I don't know if you guys have seen Bree's video, but she made like little washcloths for the kitchen and stuff. So there's just so many things. So I have my stash here full of little goodies that I can make, and then all these. So I'm sure there'll be lots of videos coming up on what to do after your loofahs are dry. So thank you for watching the Love and Toast Homestead. I hope you enjoyed this loofah video and how to harvest your green loofahs and how to preserve them, and I hope you enjoyed.